Bitcoin is going sideways, pressure is building, and the truth is no one knows what's going to happen next. In this video, I'm going to share my screen, walk through the charts, showing how low I think Bitcoin could realistically go from here, and also what would need to happen for me to change my mind and flip from bearish to bullish. At the end of the video, I'll also cover user requests asking me to look at specific charts, and I'll also talk about what I think will happen over the next 24 to 48 hours. I'm Harvinder. I've been in Bitcoin since 2015 and been making these video updates for a few years now, since 2022. And I like to keep things simple, just focus on the charts, ignore the noise. So let's get into it. All right, so right now we're just ranging at the moment, so nothing much is happening. And so what I wanted to do today was just cover some more macro charts. Macro in terms of crypto, but I want to look at the total market cap, for example. Now, it all looks very similar to Bitcoin. We've got this level of resistance, like this same line over here. We have similar lines everywhere else. So this is smashing up against resistance. So if this does break, then that is bullish. That means price is probably likely to go higher. It's the same with total too. This is the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin. Total 3, same thing. This is total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So really this is just, alts. And so it's the same situation as Bitcoin. We're smashing up against this. We're definitely in some kind of downward channel. And if it breaks, that's great. But I'm kind of bearish at the moment, so I do see things falling. Another chart I like to keep an eye on is this one here. This is the stablecoin dominance chart, and this is smashing up against this support channel, so it's more likely to go higher, and it could break. And if it does break, then that means things are going to be more bullish. Now before we look at the alts, let's have a quick look at some of the macro charts, because they're a bit conflicting. And so we've got the US dollar, that's in a downtrend, that's good. Stocks, I'm not sure if they're going to open up today. If they do, it'll be interesting to see how they react. I don't really keep an eye on like the US. But yeah, precious metals are just going insane. Like gold, silver, like it's just green candle after green candle. It is pretty insane. Like no one knows where this is going to go. Now I think on my other charts, I looked at this yesterday. Let's see what I charted, because I did have some kind of level of resistance. Yeah, 95. So that's what I'm looking at for silver if this continues on this run. Who knows? I mean, when you're on a run like this, especially with anything, you just don't know how high it's going to go. Like, these are insane. Now, one of the charts which is concerning is this one here. Let me just find it. The reverse repos. Now this is spiked up by 20 billion, which is a lot. And so what this basically means is that the smart money are taking money out of the markets and parking it because they're uncertain. They know more than us, and the reason why we want to keep an eye on this chart is that if this continues to go up, then that means it's probably a good idea to take your money out of the markets, because a crash is incoming. Now, it does do these spikes now and again. Like if you look over the last year or so, it's a spike here. So this is kind of normal, but we want the general trend to remain down, or at least flat, because it's pretty much on the floor right now. There's not really much money left in here. And so, yeah, I do keep an eye on this chart. But anyway, so my outlook for the moment is bearish. If we go into the 4-hour chart, even the 1-hour chart actually, we can see one of my favorite patterns playing out. This is some kind of mini compression. Now I know this is on the lower time frame, but it is kind of playing out. And so my prediction over the next 24 to 48 hours would be around about here. A nice small little drop. I mean, it's not going to make that much difference in the great scheme of things, but yeah, I see price remaining in this area. Right, I've got some user requests for a few different people. The first one is Ashley88811. So there's a few coins here: XRP, Sol, XLM, and ETH. So let's look at ETH first. This is over here. Now I do look at this one on a regular basis, and when it broke this trend line, I drew these. Let's zoom out. Oh no, we're on the hourly. I made a video saying, look, how low can ETH realistically go? And these were the trend lines that I drew. And so if we zoom out, let's go into the weekly, so you can see where these lines come from. So I've taken them from like previous lows, and I've just anchored them onto this low over here. It's more recent low. And so it really is a case of taking it day by day, week by week, level by level, rather. And so at the moment, we've got this kind of support line here. And because everything follows Bitcoin generally, if Bitcoin continues to fall, then so will ETH. That's just a reality. And so I do see these kind of levels being tested here. And so I'm going to move these all over to the right. And I would say these are the levels that I've got in mind. And until this trend line is broken convincingly, then yeah, these levels are realistic. So that's ETH. Let's look at XRP. I've been tracking XRP for a while, and it's the same situation. We're in this downtrend, and it really is a case of waiting for these levels to be broken. So I'm bearish short term, but medium to long term, I'm definitely bullish. And I would hope that, with XRP, it at least holds this range over here. So it doesn't really drop lower than, say, that 160 level. But, we don't know. These levels are also definitely in play, because there's definitely some kind of long-term support trend line here. If we zoom out, it will make a bit more sense. So this trend line here captures this low here as well, and this low. And I'm going to make it bigger because it is a pretty important one. So I would say that's the trend line that you really don't want XRP to fall below. And so if this, we continue in this downtrend, yeah, I'd say that's a reasonable level. Not 117, this kind of area here, but I'm hoping this area here holds. So that's XRP. Let's look at Sol. Now, Sol has not done well, in my opinion. And we've got this as the main support line. So whatever happens, we really want this trend line here to hold. And we've got some pretty strong resistance levels as well. Actually, you know what? I haven't looked at Sol in a while. It's broken this trend line. So that's not good. So when it's broken a level, you've got to just draw another support level. I'm going to leave this one here for the moment. Now, what would I draw now? See, the problem is most of the logical support lines are done. And so what I'm going to do is I don't like connecting it to the more recent low because it's probably going to fall lower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete some of these old trend lines. And I want to just draw some new lines, because some of these old ones, they have broken. And when there's too many lines, it looks a bit messy. Now, this is a pretty strong trend line here. I don't think it's going to go this low, but that's a pretty strong level. But the level that I would say makes more sense is probably around about here. So yeah, unfortunately, if everything else drops like I think it will, then Sol realistically is probably going to hit this level here. And I repeat, it is about taking it step by step. As soon as we break these resistance lines, that's when we can start getting bullish again. So realistically with Sol, you'll probably do a similar thing like that. Why has it got that background? I don't want a background. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at with Sol. What's the other one? XLM. Now this is a coin that actually surprised a lot of people in this run because it had some crazy pump, like from back in November last year, and it did a, what was that percentage? Let's have a look. Yeah, 500%, 600%. No one was expecting that because a lot of people were just calling this an old dinosaur coin. But if you pay attention, the only coins that really had some like good pumps, I would say in my opinion, were the old coins. So you had XLM, Stellar, you had XRP, you also had ADA. Everything else didn't really do much. And so this is a good chart actually because I was tracking this in the last run and we had this big resistance line here, and until it broke that, there was no point in getting excited. And the same was over here as well. It broke this and then it started pumping, and even from over here we had that kind of resistance level. It broke that and then it went crazy, and then again over here. So it's the same thing now. I'll redraw this line. I'll go into a lower time frame. So the resistance level we're looking at here is this one. So we want XLM Stellar to break above this level. But before that happens, it's probably going to go lower. So let's look at how low it could go. Let's zoom back out into the weekly chart. I like these charts with a lot of data, like these older charts. Now you can see this trend line's broken, so we could probably reconnect these lines. We could even, just draw something like that. I would say that's a good line. When you're drawing these trend lines, what you're basically looking for is as many touch points as possible. So 1, 2, 3, there's a number of touch points here. And so, I would say around about this level. There's also some horizontal support here as well. Horizontal lines are good when the angled lines have been broken. So I would say, with Stellar, if things continue to drop, that would be my ideal level. And if things really get to go bad, then that level there. But this will recover. This is a coin it's an OG coin. So it will definitely have another crazy pump like this. And my plan in this next run, when it does get to the levels that I think it will go to, I will wait for a spike and then I will sell out. I don't trust these altcoin bull runs anymore. It hasn't happened, and it's unfortunate. Right, so that's XRP, Sol, XLM, ETH done. Ashley, I hope that makes sense, and I went into a lot of detail. Next, I've got Madrid R80. They wanted me to look at Ethereum Classic, and this is another OG coin, and it didn't really do that well either. And we had like a little pump over here where it doubled, but didn't really do much. So unfortunately with this coin, it's again, we've just got resistance like everything else, and I would say that would be the level we really want to break. This will be the main one, and I can't say for sure how well this is going to do, but in terms of lows, I'm looking at that kind of area there. You wanted me to look at Monero. It's actually, Monero's been a very strange one for me because it is an altcoin, and I know it's a privacy coin, and I've been talking about it for years, but it hasn't gone in line with the rest of the market. Like when it's just done its own thing. It's almost like it is its own asset, but it's not really paying attention to Bitcoin or other alts or anything. So this is just steady growth. This is one of the early coins that's done really well. Like it's literally tripled, quadrupled since like a year ago. So if I was to do any kind of analysis on this, you just want to be connecting these support lines over here. So it's on a really nice uptrend. So if anything with this one, I would say this is more likely to go up. Like it hasn't behaved anything like the other alts. to the point where I wouldn't even be calling it an altcoin anymore. It is its own asset. But it's definitely coming up against resistance, all-time highs. But yeah, this is looking really good. Right, I had someone on Facebook as well, Cindy. I think she wanted me to cover ETH, SOL, XRP, and XLM. I have covered those, so hopefully that answers your questions as well. So yeah, thank you for the requests. I do like them, I do appreciate them, and it gives me something to do. And yeah, if anyone else has any coins you want me to cover, I go live every Friday, 3 p.m. UK time, so you can join that. I make these video updates pretty much every day, so you can just leave a comment, and I'll make sure to cover your request in the next video. And yeah, if you like these videos, feel free to subscribe. I just do this out of fun, really. One of the main reasons why I do it is to keep myself accountable and make sure I always look at the charts every day, because that's when you can go wrong. And you don't need to look at them for hours every day. You can just get into a system that I teach where you just check it for 5 minutes a day and you know what's going on, and you can get on with the rest of your life. And so, yeah, that's the main reason why I make these, just to make sure I do look at the charts. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. That's a pretty long video. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, people. Bye-bye.